Okay, this is my plant check for February 2018. I decided to record the plants so I can check on their status in 6 months to see if what I'm doing is improving and helping them grow, or if I need to make more adjustments. It's just an easy way for me to remember how to, what I've done and what I need to continue to do or change. So, and this is my little Christina limelight. $10, Home Depot. It's in sad shape. It was not clearance, but it was in sad shape. Should have been clearance. You can see some of the brown spots and stuff like that. It was just severely overwatered. It was soaked all the way up the cane. It was, let's see if I can show you. It was planted all the way up here, past the leaf growth area, which I know they grow all the way up the canes, but it still had leaves on it. And leaves were turning black and falling off. But it seems to be doing better. And I'm going to switch over to my dusty little peace lily. I live in a dust bowl. So this one has been a challenge for me. You can see that I had too much water at one point. And then there was too much light because it was turning light yellow. And but it seems to be doing better in this spot. It's growing a lot, even though it was not light yellow, but light green. Even though it was light green, it was growing. So I just moved it away from the window and farther to the side. So this is one of the spare rooms in my house, and this is a southeast facing window. So here's my prayer plant collection, which I swore I wouldn't get more than the first one because it was so hard to keep the tips from turning brown. But I love them so much. They're so pretty. And I do have some ferns put in here as well. And they're doing way better. They're on the floor because they cannot handle too bright of light, and they were scorching. So I ended up putting them down on the floor with a humidifier, and that seemed to help. So this one's doing well. It's growing. Just fertilized these for the first time. This was my little clearance plant. And really, it just had a lot of brown tips, not a lot of humidity. It was scorched from sun, too much light. But it's picking back up. I haven't replanted it because it's kind of been in shock. I just realized I don't have a water collector underneath, and I need to do that. And my bird's nest fern, I really like it. I didn't know there were so many varieties apparently, and I'm just holding myself back from getting more because I don't have any room. And I have everything in here because this is where I can have the humidifier. It's a small room. And so we can see these. This one feels like velvet underneath. This one is so pretty. And then I have more back there. And more peeking back there, as you can see. The humidifier I have off because it is 56% humidity in here, which actually these like it a little bit more, but I don't like my floor to get damp. I don't want to risk mold. And so here's my another little fern. I have all the names of these, but I just don't remember them off the top of my head. But since this is just for my records, that's fine. So there they are, my babies. And then I have, to block the sun, I have the Norfolk Island pine that my daughter bought me for Christmas. And it's not in need of a new pot yet. But I moved it right here because it needed more sun, and it needed to block the prayer plants, the sun from the prayer plants, because it gets pretty intense in here. So here is, well, they call it a staghorn. It's not really a staghorn, but it's getting new growth. I mounted it, then found out that it's a terrestrial plant, not an epiphyte. So there's another one that I have that is the epiphyte, but this is the commonly sold as a staghorn fern, but apparently it's not a true staghorn fern. So, and then I have my Alocasia poly. I don't know if I can get in here. This one was doing well until I moved it up on the table in front of the window. It dried out really fast. The peat in the soil, I can't stand peat, dried out and wouldn't rehydrate, so I had to soak it. And between the soaking and then the intense sun turned these leaves yellow. But I have new growth, and it likes it better out in front of the window where it can get bright morning light and then muted light in the afternoon. And I have another staghorn, as they call it, fern. No growth yet, but it's healthy. I mean, it looks good, but maybe in the spring. I have not fertilized that because I don't see any growth. And another Norfolk Island pine. I've had this one for some years. And then here is Platycerium grande, shield staghorn fern, and I believe this is the true staghorn. It gets massive. It's really an outdoor plant, but I don't have enough humidity in the summertime or a tree to hang it under, so we'll see. If it gets too big, I will give it away. And here is my coffee plant that is doing much better since I stopped using tap water on it. These leaves, you see that? These leaves are damaged, and I cut a lot off. I cut a lot of leaves off here. And so they were damaged, but now that I'm using distilled water or rainwater when I collect it, you know, a big 3 days of rain in the winter that we received in Southern California, it's doing much better. And as soon as the sun peeks up over this is the window. As soon as the sun peeks up over that fence, I draw these curtains so that it kind of shields them from the sun, but gives them a lot of bright light. Here's my pitcher plant. And Brad's Greenhouse on YouTube gave some excellent, you can't even see that because it's so bright, gave some excellent advice and said to mist the pitchers as they're forming every morning. And because they were dying off. So I did. I started misting them. And now I have all of these pitchers on it, which is great because of the fungus gnats, because of the prayer plants. So I am almost out of time in this room. And here's a cutting of a rhipsalis. These are doing well. Very happy now that they're getting more light. Another rhipsalis cuttings back there. My video is about to cut off. I will finish this up in a second. Oh, I guess it's not going to cut off. Okay. Let me hurry up then. So this is my Phalaenopsis that I purchased at IKEA, and it was doing really well. It has a new leaf growing, but it does have bud blast, and I know why, because I was repotting it into some better media, some bark chips, and it had this beautiful root system, and there one part looked black, so I cut it off, and it turned out to be most of the root system. That root was healthy underneath the black rotted part, and I cut the majority of the root system off. So it's just kind of in a hold pattern right now. And here's another staghorn ferns that I'm going to separate because this media, it's too wet. I'm going to separate these into separate pots. There's a lot of plants in there. Rhipsalis, doing well, growing, likes the light. I thought it would be too much light, but it's not. Another rhipsalis. Schlumbergia. This is the Thanksgiving cactus. And here's an Easter cactus. Doing well. Another Easter cactus rescued. I paid like $1 for it or something like that because it was in the back of the shelf. They didn't even realize that they had this plant. They didn't even have a label on it. This is an epiphyllum. I have no idea what this is. I bought it in a nursery, unlabeled. It hasn't done anything. I imagine in spring it'll do something, hopefully. So, and here's my little ZZ plant cuttings. They're rooted, just waiting for that long time for the leaves to grow. And here is my poor little rotted African violet. And just note to self, don't try and save the crown of those. It just, if it's rotting from the bottom up, just throw it. Here's my other African violet. Seems to be happy in here. It likes it. And I think that's it. Oh, no. Okay, so I have an air plant. I'm trying to get an air plant and then more rhipsalis. And the sun's coming up, so you're not going to see this. It's okay. As long as I get a picture for myself of the growth. Okay, there we go. All done.